Hello everybody, I'm Hoarder Gamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. I hope you're doing well this week. So, we've got some reviews, we've got toys, we've got games, we've got all of it. I hope you're ready for all of it, because it's all here. We're going to start with our first review, and we actually have two pretty big heavy hitters. Usually we'll have like one review that's a real big deal, and it'll be definitely like at the end of the show. And then we'll have a book maybe that's a little bit smaller, not quite as big. But here and then we'll have like two huge titles. First up, we have Ultimate X-Men #1. And if you're having trouble seeing that, I think I can make that a little bit easier for you to see. There we go. Okay, so this is actually written and the art is done by Peach Momoko. And that cover right there is her style, which is this amazing, almost like watercolor, and in this book, in the case of this book, an anime vibe. It's very cool. It feels like a traditional Japanese ghost story, and a very different way to usher in a new X-Men book. So we have Hisako, and she's this young girl at school, and she is tormented by the death of a friend of hers, Tsubasa, and is possibly even haunted by Tsubasa. At the same time, this dark, malevolent force is trying to get Hisako to follow him, and I believe it's going to be, give me 1 second here, possibly Viper, because Viper, Sunfire, and Silver Samurai are basically the villains that are in charge of that area of Japan. Because what happened with this entire new Ultimate series is the Maker, that's incredibly complicated, I'm not going to get into who the Maker exactly is, but the Maker basically went and made it so there were no more heroes. And this is kind of like fighting against the Maker and like the people he has in charge. So Hisako is being like tormented by not only the memories of Tsubasa, but also this malevolent force that wants her to join. And there's this great moment where it's attacking, and this necklace, I believe it's one that Tsubasa gave her, forms this amazing armor, which you can see on the cover. That like red looking armor, and it protects her. And it's pretty wild. She first manifests or understands this power where she's almost hit by a car as she's escaping who almost seems like is Tsubasa, but at that point it's unknown, and it's probably Viper or some other, evil Ultimate X-Men, I guess you could say. It's very good. The art style is great. Peach Momoko has usually done these awesome covers, and yeah, there's this great vibe in the entire book, and I'm looking forward to issue 2. Now, issue 2 could very well be another member of the Ultimate X-Men and just tangentially cover Hisako. I don't know exactly, because it's Ultimate X-Men, it's not Ultimate Hisako. So I expect that in the first few issues, they're going to like unveil all the members and have like their different, origin stories and everything like that. But yeah, this first issue is great. And for me, I think it's the best marriage of writing and art I've seen Peach Momoko do. I think it's very impressive. And I think it's awesome that they gave her a flagship book like Ultimate X-Men. Like, that is huge. Ultimate Spider-Man right now is absolutely loved. And Ultimate Black Panther, issue 1 sold out. You couldn't get it. You had to be at the shop like when they opened, or maybe an hour or two later. I got there that day about 3.5 hours after they opened, sold out. So this new Ultimate line is very popular. So, okay, everybody, that is our first review, Ultimate X-Men #1. Next up, we're going to talk about video games. And I would be remiss if I did not talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So, Axel Ridby put out another blog last Friday, as he has been done for the last, I want to say 3 weeks, maybe 4. And people did not take it well. I think some people read into it and saw it as nothing's going to be done until Joker drops. But reading it, like actually just, trying not to look anything into it at face value, it definitely sounds like they want the game to be in the place where the Joker can drop, and they want to have the issues with signing in and the issues with a mastery level taken care of before that. Then they mentioned that this week there wouldn't be a big patch, and directly after that mentioned that hot fixes or non-client patches could definitely happen like this week or next week, but not an actual patch. So I'm hoping to hear something in the next day or two, hopefully for this hot fix, or even if they're going to be like on Friday with their next blog, if they're going to be like, hey, the hot fix and everything's being fixed next week, So I definitely am expecting that kind of update, but I'm not freaking out over the way things were worded. I think it makes sense. And now it honestly feels like people are finding reasons to be upset. At no point did Rocksteady ever say when in March the Joker was going to drop. Okay? And now that it's March 28th, people are upset that it isn't earlier in March. This is about average for most games as a service. One of the only things that's a little bit different, I think it was 2 weeks for raids with Destiny. But I don't think it was like that in the very beginning when Destiny first launched, like the first Destiny. Yeah, a month or two is relatively normal for like a big update. Also, they've got these technical issues they got to get under wraps, they got to fix. And one thing to keep in mind, while WB has said they're disappointed with how Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been doing, keep in mind they are comparing it to Hogwarts Legacy, which I believe sold 22 million copies. And using a word that Jay Shockblast likes to use, a unicorn, that game is basically a unicorn, okay? Just in terms of sales and popularity and everything like that. How in the world could Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League live up to that? A new Batman Arkham would not live up to that. Be very honest, a new Batman Arkham game would not have sold 22 million copies. It wouldn't have. So how did they expect... What did they expect of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? I don't know. I don't know. And also, some of this is on marketing, let's be honest here. Like I said, they went radio silent like 9 months after pushing the game back, and there was like nothing. And then finally, information came out again, and people were pretty hyped when they saw some of the videos and stuff. But right before the game came out, and after the closed beta, there's like this negativity campaign. And I do not blame anyone specifically at IGN, but IGN definitely had something to do with it. There were at least, I want to say, 15 to 20 articles that were negative about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, going so far as to reword titles and things like that so people would reread them. I find that very questionable. More ammo for the haters? They don't need more. They need less ammo. They need less ammo. They need blanks. The haters need to be shooting blanks at this point. Mike. Yeah, so there's that. And I do, again, with marketing too, how in the hell is there no Harley Quinn DC EU outfit yet? Not even one. Not even the one from the 2016 movie. Not the 2 or 3 that are in the it was 2021, right? I want to say. I think the Suicide Squad was 2021. None from that. None from the Birds of Prey. Roller Skate, Harley. So many other Harley incarnations that they don't have available. How? How did marketing say, like, you know what? We're not going to do that. This is a game as a service, and we have microtransactions, but we aren't going to give people the outfits they want. We're not going to give you King Shark from the Suicide Squad. We're not going to give you the Deadshot outfit from the 2016 movie. Nope. None of those things. You're not going to get inmate Harley from the 2016 movie where she's like hanging upside down and asks a security guard if he's the devil. No, none of those things. Skins or swatches this week? I honestly don't know. I don't know, Crinky. Yeah, just talking about like the different marketing things that Suicide Squad had going against it. Besides, what honestly seems like a negativity campaign that was even before the game came out. There are so many things this game had to fight. This game has been put through the ringer worse than Marvel's Avengers. Because Marvel's Avengers got a lot of glowing reviews right when it came out. And there wasn't this incredible negativity, except about 6 months before it came out. People were upset with some of the character designs, and then finding out that it was indeed a game as a service. But that was nowhere near the blowback that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League got for it. And games are being praised that are games as a service, like Helldivers 2. And I just don't get it. There is this double standard, and I don't know what it is. And this is the thing, too. I'm not a hater. I like Helldivers 2. I own it. It was $40. I thought it was definitely worth getting, and I've had fun with it. The only problem is every time I play Helldivers 2, I am basically kicked back to the main PlayStation screen. It crashes. Every session I've played of Helldivers 2, the game has crashed. So, not great. It actually led to, I want to say on Saturday or Friday night, I was playing with Doom and some other players, and couldn't get back together with them because I rebooted. They ended up in another mission, and then missions are 40 minutes. So wasn't going to go on too much longer really with the stream. So I ended up doing missions with other people I knew. And yeah, because of that crash, that happened. So also, if I try to join like an in progress and there's only one person in it, I get a weird error message. I don't know if that's been fixed. I'll have to check that out again. Haters don't know what they're talking about with Suicide Squad. I'm having a blast too. Now, this is very important though. When I say haters, I'm not talking about the people that can't sign into the game. Okay? I am not talking about people that have their mastery rank locked. I'm not talking about those people. Those people that bought the game, cannot play it for over a month. That's shitty. Let's be honest, that's shitty. And I honestly hope they fix that very, very soon. And again, going by the blog from last Friday, from Axel Ridby, it sounds like the Joker is coming out late March. And the reason being, not because it was pushed back, they just said March. But maybe it would have been sooner if they didn't have to have these patches out, or non-client patches, hot fixes, if you will, before. And I really think that's what they're doing. Like they mentioned, they needed to have the game in a good place, running in a, what they mean, like, running in all cylinders, basically, before dropping the Joker in, and that season in, which makes complete sense. Okay, you don't want to build a house on a terrible foundation. You want the foundation to be solid and then continue to build the house from there. Yes, I mean, I don't know exactly what the compensation would look like. If it would be a number of outfits in the store or what. I think that would be good. Right now, though, I think it's the absolute most important that those issues are taken care of so people can enjoy the game they bought. Also, a lot of people have been contacting PlayStation to try to get, like, and probably Xbox as well, to try to get refunds, but that is not something that PlayStation is actively doing. Isolated incidents, PlayStation has done it or agreed to it in isolated incidents. Not that they're constantly doing that. This isn't a cyberpunk situation yet. So there was a story that came out a few days ago that had that incorrect. One of the issues I've seen with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is it seems to be case by case in very small batches of people having the same problem for the same reason, and then having that same problem but for a different reason. Now, one thing I thought of, and I'm hoping I'm wrong about this because I don't know an easy fix for it, especially with WB being the publisher, DRM, Digital Rights Management. There probably was not DRM in the closed beta. I doubt there was. But right when that game launched, I'm certain that a AAA game had some level of DRM. And all I can think of is people that can't log in, that it's having some sort of license issue, not realizing that people own the game. And I could definitely see DRM being a culprit for something like that. So I don't know if the answer is different DRM and how insanely hard that is, or removing the DRM completely, which I do not know that WB would allow. Again, I don't know that's the culprit, but if I look at something from the point of you cannot sign in, you can't log into the game, it makes me think it is, again, a licensing issue, and DRM could be the reason for it. Well, they did have a patch that came out that fixed the loading Metropolis. As far as I know, though, that patch or hotfix, that was basically all that did. But I was happy they did that because, yes, I had that issue. Less prevalent on Xbox, but constant on PlayStation. Even when I went like to non-crossplay, changing that setting, still had the issue. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Joker. And again, the idea that the game is going to be in a better place when Joker launches so I can play with friends. MNN, one of my followers on Twitch, we've tried to play Suicide Squad probably about 5 times, and they're pulled into the group and then pulled out of the group, rejected from the group. And that is one of the login issues, one of the multiplayer-based login issues. So that's one of the main things they need to fix as well. So it's basically 2 issues, but it occurs in different places. But yes, I still very much like the game. Okay, so now, talking about that, I would be completely remiss if we didn't mention WB Games talking about the future of gaming. And for them, they're looking to double down on games as a service and not the usual AAA game. Now, I want to say it was last year during an earnings call where they called Hogwarts Legacy a franchise, and then someone leaked that they were already working on the next one. So that's the case. Expect 2027 to 2028 for that. And that, in all intents and purposes, at this point, will be a AAA game, a huge expansive experience like the first one, but probably larger. And it will probably now have multiplayer as part of like being a game as a service. And if people are upset that Hogwarts Legacy is about to be a game as a service, you should not have demanded multiplayer. Fans of that game, everywhere I looked, everywhere I saw, were like, why doesn't it have multiplayer? Why doesn't it have multiplayer? Why doesn't it have co-op? A company hears that, like WB, and they're like, game as a service. Everyone wants it for this. So I truly believe that that's going to be one of the last like AAA games. And then also, of course, Wonder Woman as well. But Wonder Woman should be much sooner. I'd expect Wonder Woman in 2025, 2026. I cannot think it would be anywhere near as far out as Hogwarts Legacy. Because remember, first Hogwarts Legacy came out in 2023 last year. So coming out in 2027, 2028, that's really par for the course. That's probably to be expected as a time frame. But yes, when they mention they're double downing on games as a service and free to play, it very much seems like those types of elements will be in Hogwarts Legacy. But you'll also get the big giant game that you enjoyed the first time. Sun on Series S, super excited for Joker in season 1. Yeah, I love his traversal. I love his personality. He just walks into Hall of Justice, pulls out a gun and shoots. Like, wow. That's pretty wild. I'm very interested to see what his relationship is with Harley. I'm interested to see how he reacts to Lex Luthor. Because I feel there's something squirrely going on with Lex Luthor. Like I mentioned before, I think it's very possible that he's ultimately the big bad. That's the vibe I get. And maybe that Lex, that one from Earth 2, is responsible for everything involving Kolu. You know? I'm just a suspicious Aloysius, I guess. But yeah, Helldivers 2 I've been having fun with this week. Played with a number of different players, some with mics, some without. I will say, though, that even on single player, if you're playing on level 2 difficulty, which is easy, level 1 is trivial, it's still brutally difficult. So I went to one of the main planets that was having some sort of thing going on. I think it was Angel's Venture. I think that was the planet. And it was just like eradicate bugs. But man, they just did not stop coming. It took me forever just to get to the area to even think about like trying to extract or anything like that. The main area where the bugs were. And yeah, it was just insanely brutal. So I would like to see an update where some level of single player is viable. I don't know. Now, it's possible that area, Angel's Venture, was extra saturated with bugs and far more difficult because it was, you know, the whole idea of like that the area we're trying to save and or colonize. So this is where everyone should go. So like that's how Helldivers works. They tell you what planets to go to, and you get a special bonus for everybody that does well on those planets. I believe it's 45 War Bond medals, which lets you unlock really cool things in the Battle Pass. Yeah, I do like the game. I just don't understand the whole idea of people saying it's amazing or 9 out of 10. I've seen too many technical issues with it. And again, I'm worried how compelling it's going to be in 6 months to a year. Now, apparently we're getting mechs very soon. That's going to be cool. I did go up against the automatons, and that was very funny because I've never fought them before. And like the regular dudes that look like, you know, 6 feet tall people, those die easily. Like my weapons had no problem killing them. But oh my god, the ones that are armored, it was like 2 or 3 magazines to take one down. It was insanely brutal. And then like you get to their little area and they're dug in. They have artillery and they have like shelter and stuff that they're using. It's like, oh my god, this is nuts. So you have to use like a bunker buster type of thing and like those types of attacks. You definitely want to be coordinated for the automatons. Even on like difficulty 3 or 4, they were something. They were something. My entire team got wiped. And like 2 or 3 of those members really knew well what they were doing, and you could tell they fought the automatons before, like going into stealth, going prone. Like, again, I never fought them before. I didn't know what to expect, and it was pretty intense. Some video game news just hit today. Princess Peach Showtime. The demo is available for download on the Nintendo Switch. So you can try that out before, I believe, March 22nd, which is the launch date, which might also be the launch date for Dragon's Dogma 2, and maybe even Rise of the Ronin. I think it's all the same day. If not, it's within a few days of that. But, like, that's wild. Also, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game for the Mutant Mayhem. I don't think that's the name. I think that was the name of the movie. But the game that follows that story and has that look and feel, that's coming out from Outright Games, and pre-orders went live today for $40. Now, here's the rub there. Outright Games, I would not say that they're bad. I would say that sometimes they are time constrained and they kind of do as much as they possibly can. So Turtles could be very cool and worth your $40. It could also be not so great. I fully expect it to be better than that King Kong game that came out. I fully expect that. But again, I don't know to what level of quality it's going to be. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, everybody. I would say we're probably done with video game news for this week, which means it's time for us to toy around. And first up, we have Krang. Big freaking Krang. I believe he's 11 inches tall. I believe it's $85. Look at that. It's a Super 7 Ultimate figure. Removable Krang in the stomach. But yeah, the detail on it's crazier than you're even expecting, because take a look at this picture right here. The inner workings of Krang. You actually see a hamster on a wheel that apparently is one of the things that keeps Krang running, as well as like doodads and diodes. That's how I'm going to say that. Doodads and diodes. And other pulleys and stuff like that. So, surprisingly, very, like, retro, do-it-yourself giant killer robot. But, yeah, I thought that was hilarious. And I definitely wanted to show the hamster in the wheel. That was like, wow. And for a toy, even an expensive toy, that's pretty ridiculous detail. That's pretty neat. I do not know if it turns at all, if it makes it look like the little hamster's running. I don't know. None of the information I could find would say that's what it does. But then also, he comes with that like ball and chain arm with a spike ball at the end, and then like the blue crab claw in the other hand. So he comes with a lot of extras. He's 11 inches tall. I like it, but not enough where I would think about getting it. But I definitely wanted to show everybody the giant Krang right here. Next up, we have the Ghosts of Krypton. Okay. So we got Superman, Brainiac, Earth 2 Superman, also known as, you might know him as Steel, John Henry Irons, and Zod. And Zod has this really cool, almost translucent looking green skin. And I think it looks really awesome if you see him in detail. And the Superman, I have another picture of him. Give me 1 second, I just gotta find it here. Let's see. Look at that insane armor. Look at that. Like I believe this is like a comic that takes place in the Phantom Zone, and I think it's an exclusive comic book. It's like the first time I believe they've had an exclusive comic, one issue for each of the 4 figures available for the Page Puncher McFarlane toys. But yeah, this is all of these items I'm showing to you are out for pre-order right now. The McFarlane figures are $24.99. I know Amazon has them. Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store. But like, yeah, there's 4 issues, and it's an entire story, The Ghost of Krypton. And I very much love the Superman figure. The armor is really intense and crazy. As someone said, it looks like it's Spawnified. Like Spawn or one of the characters from Spawn. But then, like you saw in the other picture, it's a really nice looking Superman figure underneath it. So I think that's going to be a real popular figure, to be honest with you, even if the comic book isn't great. Brainiac has multiple tentacles and like weapons and stuff, and I thought Brainiac looked really cool too. I like all of them. I think all of them are really neat. Again, they're $24.99, available for pre-order right now. And then we have something strange, but not in your neighborhood. Doctor Strange and Morbius going at it, fighting each other in a box set. It's $49.99, both figures, Marvel Legends. I believe those pre-orders are live today. I think that just went live today. I think it looks really good. I very much like the look they did for Doctor Strange. And I like the Morbius, but I like the Strange more. I did think as a box set it was really cool, though, and I definitely wanted to show it. I believe that's all the toys we have. Yes. So yeah, that's the end of our toying around this week. So it wasn't quite that many toys to look at that were very exciting, but the ones that did come out, you know, I wanted to show a number of pictures of them and everything like that. And I would say probably the biggest thing would be the Ghost of Krypton. Like, there's some really cool, I believe Balin Skull Hot Toys figure. Again, like $300. But I'd say this is probably the Ghosts of Krypton, probably the coolest thing to come out this week. But at least for pre-orders. Okay, everybody, we are done toying around. Now we are going to look at the future of comics. The future of comics all the way to 1 week from today. Okay, and first up we have Batman Dylan Dog. Okay, Dylan Dog, an Italian comic book, basically like a horror type of, or horror anthology series with the main character Dylan Dog and now Batman together. So this is kind of an interesting, crazy thing, and it's going to have people that are being brought back to life by a necromancer. It sounds like. Sounds pretty wild. Batman Dylan Dog. It was something that I was like, whoa, who is Dylan Dog? Because I honestly didn't know. I had to look it up. And yeah, this long-going horror series. They even did a movie called Cemetery Man with Rupert Everett, which was loosely based on the character Dylan Dog. And now they're actually going to do apparently a Dylan Dog TV series. So I'm guessing on Max or something. So Batman Dylan Dog. Next up, we have Suicide Squad Dream Team #1. Okay? Bizarro, Clock King, Harley Quinn, and Dreamer make up this Suicide Squad team. And this is going to tie into big story elements for DC Comics. This is, I believe, a 4-issue series, and it sounds awesome. Dreamer is a very cool character. They showed up on oh my god, I forget his name now. My god. Well, the Superman comic book, which was Superboy taking over as Superman. Not Superboy, but the son of Kal-El. Basically taking over when Kal-El was on Warworld and all that type of wild stuff. Yeah, but Dreamer was very cool on that. Very interesting, like, ability that they have, and it sounds like a villain is looking to control that ability for themselves. And I very much like the designs and all the characters, especially the Amanda Waller right there. I think that's a great fusion of just about every version of Amanda Waller, and I think this will be really cool. There's a good chance I'll actually review this next week. Again, Suicide Squad Dream Team #1. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #1. And it sounds like it's an ongoing series, not a miniseries. And basically, it's who is going to be the next Ghost Rider. Because Johnny Blaze didn't quite fit the mold of the Spirit of Vengeance, or at least doesn't anymore. So who's going to take that mantle? And they pretty much are hinting that it could be someone bad, like evil or something. So it sounds interesting. It sounds like it's going to be cool. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance. Or maybe someone that's at least, like, you know, very, like, brutal. You know, something like that. Something just intense and hard to say exactly. But I thought it looked really cool, and it was exciting to hear that it was coming out. Also, Benjamin Percy, the writer of Wolverine. He also wrote a previous Ghost Rider series recently. Very good writer. So I figured I would definitely show Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #1. Let me see here. Might be the end of our comics. We didn't have too many. Oh, just a little note. Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther issue 2 comes out next week. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely try to pick it up right away. Like I said, issue 1 sold out like everywhere, super quick. So issue 2 will be coming out next week. So just something to keep an eye on. Everybody, the show is not over yet. We have one final review, but I want to thank everyone that's watching. Thank you for spending your time with me this week. I appreciate it. Doom, happy hump day to you, sir. I hope you're doing well, Doom. And, okay, do not adjust your screen. This cover really looks like this. Our final review for the night. The Batman First Night. And yes, it actually looks like a pulp novel from the 30s. And yes, this is a Batman story taking place in 1939. And it's a scary world that echoes the world we currently live in. When you open it up, one of the first things you see is the Daily Star Morning Edition. Hitler threatens annihilation of the Jewish race. And then you see things about Mussolini, and this is a time period where Madison Square Garden had 20-some thousand Nazi sympathizers in New York City show up and show their support for Hitler. So this is a very frightening time, okay? And this is all very important to the story, taking place in 1939. So these monstrous men are able to, like, beat the hell out of people, but in an extremely brutal way. There's a fight in a bar, and someone's head actually gets torn off their body and thrown onto a pool table. And this has been happening to a number of people in Gotham City. And Jim Gordon has no idea what the hell is going on. He's still really good at his job, but he's not ready for any of this. And Batman is basically trying to look into it and see where the murders are happening. He ends up fighting these monstrous men. And the idea of monster men actually goes back to a number of different Batman comics. So it might be a slight retelling of some of that stuff. I'm not exactly sure yet because it's only issue 1 of 4, I believe. And so he fights them. And basically the thing that saves him is he's like beat up and like lying in front of a building, and it just happens to be a synagogue. and a rabbi comes out and sees Batman and brings him in, and basically they have this wonderful conversation, and he's talking about like his fears and everything like that. And Batman, Bruce's fears are very similar. You know, the idea of the Nazis and everything like that weighing heavily on both men right in this scene, and it's really powerful. And that's actually, to me, one of the best scenes in the entire book. There's also a really good scene where Commissioner Gordon is being hounded by reporters, and Bruce Wayne shows up in this gorgeous sports car and whisks him away, and then we find out about their relationship. So basically, the idea that he's kept tabs on Bruce ever since Bruce's parents were killed, and he feels that there's something very special about Bruce. That, like, he's not just the playboy, that's a bit of a facade. He doesn't know he's Batman, he hasn't figured that out or anything yet, but he feels that there's something great that Bruce will do with his life. And he definitely wants to basically, you know, keep an eye on him. Now, it's really gorgeous. The artwork in here, you should totally check this out if you can see this at the comic shop. Like, one of the actors looks like Myrna Loy, which was an actor of the 20s. I think 20s and 30s, I believe. And then some of the other actors or characters resemble certain actors of the time period. It's very evocative of the 30s and 40s. It's very cool that way. And it's got a message. It's got a very important message that, like I said, sadly echoes today, you know, with things like the far right and everything. And I think this is going to be a really good book. The final scene is quite shocking. Literally. Someone ends up in the electric chair, and it's probably not who you think. So, yeah, it's a great ending to issue 1. It's very pulpy, and it's got a great message, and it's done really well. And I love the artwork. I absolutely love the artwork. And this, you know, basically oldest school style of Batman with the very long ears and everything. It looks great in here. So yeah, I highly recommend this. The Batman First Night. Now this is a variant cover, so not all the covers look like this, but I love this one because it again looks like a lurid 1930s pulp novel, you know, like where they got the name like Pulp Fiction. That's like from the idea like of a pulp novel, a noir type of thing that came out, you know. Okay, so both these reviews I thought were really good. Ultimate X-Men, like I said, a very cool introduction to Hisako and her powers, as well as just gorgeous artwork, you know, looking like water painting, and a very good and effective, like modernized Japanese ghost story. Very cool stuff. Peach Momoko did an excellent job with that. And I feel that Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins did a great job with the Batman in The First Night. Again, this is 1 of 4, so keep that in mind. I'll also reiterate, too, with Ultimate X-Men 1, my expectation is that issue 2, issue 3 will be other members, and as we build up, we end up with a full X-Men team, because this one really just focused on Hisako. There weren't like any other characters or anything like that that seemed to be like, oh, that's going to be another member of this X-Men team. Didn't quite seem like that. Like, she has friends, she has family and stuff like that, but there was nothing that stood out unless like the person that she thinks is haunting her, Tsubasa, is somehow still alive somehow, or in between life and death. I guess he could be. But yeah. Okay, everybody. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Again, thank you to Doomkiller HD and Doom Squad Gaming for letting me borrow this channel. Thank you very much. And for whatever reason, if you're a complete glutton for punishment, I am available. You can watch me on Twitch. I'm available at twitch.tv/Hoarder Gamer. And currently I'm doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm enjoying it. I fought a very jerky robot yesterday called Airbuster. He was upsetting. Ultimately, I defeated him, but took many a try. Had to grind a bit to do it. Also, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Diablo 4, because a new update just recently came out. And yes, Helldivers 2. And once I'm done with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm thinking about going to Death Stranding Deluxe or whatever it was, the version for PS5. Thank you, Cranky. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and I hope you all have a great week. And yes, I'll have another episode next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.